for this one. Don't Piers Morgan me.
Good Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson. How is it going today, Chuck?
I'm a little anxious.
It's a day.
Today, this podcast is just two white guys that are going to attempt to talk about something we know nothing about.
We're not experts. We haven't been there.
No, I've never been there.
Never
been there.
I have lived in Antioch for like 15 years now, though. So,
oh yeah.
I mean, that's going to the region.
Are there places you avoid in Antioch?
No, not in Antioch.
There's not.
I mean, not consciously, maybe subconsciously. I don't know.
That's why you need that subconscious bias training.
I have extra reason to worry, though, because of the Asian heritage that I have.
That's right.
Yeah. And the
so you're not fully white.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Asian hate.
The statistics.
Asian hate's a real thing.
I know.
They keep you guys out of colleges and stuff.
See the statistics on that kind of thing. It's dangerous for people like me to go around the places. So
especially back in the 40s.
Okay, this is Good Morning Liberty. We talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of meaning every single day of the week. When we want to smash follow, subscribe, tell a friend, a family member, and especially tell the children to listen to today's show. It's very important. I titled it in the group, "Race Wars Incoming." I don't know about you guys. For some reason, my whole feed on X over the last couple days has just been filled with people talking about the N-word and
people saying the N-word.
Yeah. Shiloh, this Lily chick that was on Piers Morgan last night, Matt Walsh and what's his name? James Lindsay are going back and forth. My God, if I have to hear James Lindsay say woke right one more time. I'm giving one more time.
At least Lindsay's using the N-word in context.
Yes.
He's allowed to mention it.
Yeah.
Someone else said it.
He did say that. That's right.
He
typed it out.
He typed it
out and posted it. And then the next paragraph, he censored it with asterisks. Yeah, it was only okay in the paragraph before that.
Yeah.
And then we've got this Rodney Hinton.
Wait, did South Park predict the race war?
They predicted everything, man.
They're
just like the Simpsons predicting everything.
Gosh, they must be from the future.
We got Rodney Hinton Jr. This story, this is a guy whose son was killed by a police officer, and then the next day he took it upon himself to kill a police officer. A totally different police officer, had nothing to do with his son getting killed at all.
That's the eye for an eye.
And then we have the Dave Portnoy thing, where someone, I guess, had a sign at a Barstool event or whatever that...
There's a Barstool bar.
Is a bar? They have a bar?
They have bars, yeah.
Really?
There's one down in Nashville, yeah. Club.
There's a Barstool thing in Nashville?
There is.
How long's that been there, man?
Year or two.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've never been.
I'm out of the game.
I know it's there.
Yeah. Well,
you quit
when
drinking
we go,
7 years ago.
When we go, we'll bring this sign we have over here. It says F the Jews, and we'll just... we'll see what happens after that. Of course, we had the Carmelo Anthony situation, and that gets spun into a Gibson Go controversy with him raising $500-something thousand so far. Shiloh is out there raking in the dough for the moment. She's raised $736,000.
Not LaBeouf.
No, this is Shiloh.
This is a lady Shiloh.
You guys have seen that video. And it just had me wondering, like, this is starting to get... It's starting to get spicy, at least online, and you have these little things that happen in the real world, like that guy deciding to kill a cop the day after his son was killed. That's weird. And then you see a lot of people that are like supporting that, and these millions of people viewing these posts and tens of thousands of reposts on them of people supporting this guy like he's Luigi Mangione or something out there doing the Lord's work, And it's starting to look kind of scary, like we're heading for another summer of love right now. Trump is the president, and everything was fine while Biden was the president. There weren't any race problems. No black people got killed by cops during that time that we had to worry about. And now, of course, all of a sudden,
those ones.
except for all the ones that got killed by cops.
Yeah.
And
just
now
didn't hear about it.
all of a sudden, it's going to become a problem again. And there's a big race conversation going on right now, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm going to preview what the end of this show is going to be, and it's going to be us talking about this thing called collectivism. I don't like collectivism, and I don't think Charlie does either. We are radical individualists over here at Good Morning Liberty. I really treat people like they are individuals, and I think that's a pretty good principle to go about your life. I think some of the worst things that have happened in human history have been done via collectivism. Tribalism. If you want to talk about the Holocaust, or, then you could talk about like class war, and you collectivize people based on their economic class. And that's a stupid way to collectivize people too, because if someone in the class becomes successful, then they're an enemy of the class. So like you build a class that if you leave it, it's a bad thing and you become an evil person. So you have a class of like unsuccessful people. And if you become successful, you're evil. That's a stupid class.
Unless you get enough power.
Yeah.
Then the people calling you out for your power in the class, then you send those people to prison camps.
And so like so many bad things have been done throughout history because
Martin
of collectivism.
Luther King Jr. had one thing right, which is probably based on Ayn Rand.
He was a big Ayn Rand fan.
Big Ayn Rand fan.
For sure.
Is that people should be judged based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin, not how much money they make, not anything else. It should be content of character.
That was a pretty good individualist message that he was preaching at that time. Now he was kind of a socialist, but whatever. It's useful for us to talk about it in this context right now.
I'm just talking about those specific words.
We'll start with the Shiloh thing, which I'm sure everyone has seen the video. I skipped over watching the video until yesterday. It was like the first time. And so we're just going to kind of paint the picture of what's going on right now. And we're going to litigate some of this. We're going to litigate some of the word usage here, I guess, as we play that. Here's this video. She's got her kid at a park. You guys probably know the story. A kid takes something out of her diaper bag. This is all allegedly. The whole story is pretty weird. But someone gets this on camera, this altercation, and this is what happens.
You call him a nigger, the child?
Oh, hey, earmuffs, by the way, especially if you're black. I don't want to hurt, I know that it's going to be traumatizing.
Well, this is a black guy saying
Well,
it.
He's saying it, but when she says it, then it'll be It's not traumatizing. It's okay right now, just if you're black and you're listening to the show, the guy talking is black, and so don't...
Do we know that for sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So don't feel hurt when you hear that, but when it comes out of her mouth, the word is, it's a different word. All right, here it is.
Did you call the child the nigger word? It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Well, she don't have any balls.
Nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger?
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you. You call him?
Well, he was right. We did see what the internet has to say about her.
They're still saying it.
And they said, here is $735,000. That is your prize for saying the N-word to a 5-year-old kid. Now, first off, kids do stupid stuff, okay? Doesn't really matter what color they are. I don't think kids have great ideas ingrained in them of like property rights. And the kid looks like he's maybe older than 5 or whatever, but kids do stupid stuff. As far as I can tell, kids of all different races can steal stuff or, take stuff out of a diaper bag they see somewhere.
Take toys from kids.
Toys, whatever the case may be.
Even if they're not playing with it.
Yeah.
And then another kid starts playing with it, then all of a sudden they want to play with it.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. I tell you what,
it.
I have a little white boy who has practiced that multiple times.
Just taking stuff.
So is he an N-word?
Did you call him the N-word after that?
I didn't, no. But that can happen. I mean, kids I tell you what, kids are very narcissistic. They only care about themselves.
It's true. It's true. And so in this situation, it is stupid to call a kid any name for going and doing that. And so then we talk about the N-word, which we're still not going to say because other people have not broken the glass ceiling for us
yet. What has
yet.
happened is this has broken like into a larger debate. So the Pet Haters Club is making some comments right now. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah, I called him a cracker. That's what I did.
Yeah. I just like
when he did that.
13% of the kids are responsible for 51% of the toys going missing. Now that is something that you could mention, by the way, like someone like Ben Shapiro would go to a college campus and mention some crime statistics. And those statistics are real statistics, and you could say disproportionately people of the people who commit these crimes, a disproportionate amount of them are of a certain race or whatever. And I don't think it's racist to point out like that is the case, you know, if it's in a useful scenario, or maybe you're talking about there could be a culture problem, or maybe there's a missing parents, like single mother problem, or, you know, something like that. Doesn't mean that you're racist when you're talking about like just hard stats that exist out there in the world. But then we went through this period where it's even racist to talk about those kinds of things, you know, like even a guy like Ben Shapiro could be a racist, that kind of thing.
What I find strange, like, God, this is such a crazy debate because you have to take into consideration that evil exists in the world. Okay. It just does. All right. And you know, statistics show that men are more likely to commit aggressive crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so women who go out, they typically don't go out alone. They typically are told to cover their drinks and do all this stuff. Now that's not sexist.
Yeah.
It's not sexist because there has to be a realm of like safety. You have to protect yourself. And so when the stats show that I'm more likely to get raped and murdered by a man than I am a female, I'm able to go out with a female alone, but probably not a man alone that I don't know.
Yeah.
Until I figure out whether or not I can trust that person is not evil. And
See,
even in
what you're saying is that I should be careful when I go out in my neighborhood?
No, that's not.
Because of the people that live there?
But see, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am
Sounds
saying.
like that's what you're saying.
No, what I am saying is that you should be allowed to take data into consideration when it comes to whether or not you can trust a person. But again, that goes back to how do you know whether or not you can trust a person, an individual?
It's an individual thing.
It's a content of their character.
You can't judge one person based on what someone else who looks like them have done, or even doesn't even have to look like them, who shares the same skin color as them has done. None of us should do that, although I'm sure we all do it in some way or another at different times. And we'll do it with stereotypes. Like if you're a betting man and you're like, hey, what kind of music do you think that guy right there listens to? You know, like you win $1 million if you guess the right thing. Okay, and it's a black guy. And so you're like, probably rap, you know? Wow, that's racist.
Hey, what's
you know, like what would you do?
This reminds me of that joke from that girl on Tony Hinchcliffe's show, who she's awkward girl. I can't remember her name right now, but you've seen the joke where she talks about clutching her purse on the Kill Tony show.
No.
Yes, you know it.
Okay.
Because someone from the group pull it up for me. It's a really funny joke. You need to find it so that Nate can pull it up.
What's the point of the joke?
While we're talking about it. She does it way better than I could. But I think that needs to be played.
We'll find it and play
this episode.
So after this happens with Shiloh, now she ends up raising a bunch of money, okay? And of course, this is following the Carmelo Anthony story that had happened like a week or two before that. And people were all up in arms about him raising a bunch of money. Of course, he kills a white kid, stabs a white kid, raises $500,000, and then this happens with Shiloh. Now, did she need to raise any money after doing this thing that we disagree with her doing? I think it's a very stupid thing to do, to call a kid any name or to go off on any kid that steals something out of your bag. It's a child, okay? And you don't need to go find a like race-specific slur to call a kid who is stealing something out of your bag. That's something that a lot of different kids could do. So she goes and she raises $736,000. And I see all these posts about how, we won. We won, white people, just so you know, because she raised way more money than the Carmelo Anthony Gifts and Go raised. And I just want to tell you guys that that's not true. Black people raised way more money per capita for Carmelo Anthony than has been raised for Shiloh so far. So there's still a ways to go on this. You got to do, even if you look at the per capita numbers here on the Gifts and Go thing, and you look at the amount of people that have donated to it, it's about $26 per person for Shiloh, and it's about $34 per person for Carmelo Anthony. So black people have still raised more money per capita for the kid who murdered the white kid. So anyhow, we're getting off track here.
There's just less of them. So yeah.
This spins into this conversation last night on Piers Morgan. And of course, Matt Walsh has had a lot to say about this as well. And we start talking about the N-word and whether or not it's okay for someone to say the N-word. And I think that Matt Walsh made some decent points on this. It is pretty crazy how this one word, like we can say the word retarded now. I mean, I would tell you like a year ago, I don't think we would have just been throwing out the word retarded on the podcast. It would have felt pretty weird just throwing out retarded. Now I've
not
said
for
it like
me.
3.
I can say it.
And so we can say retarded. I posted on X retarded yesterday, you know.
Didn't get banned.
No, didn't get banned for saying it or whatever. But we have this one word that a specific group of people can't say. And it's so weird to me. Even a couple free speech guys like this, like the two of us right now, we're still not going to say it at the moment. But how can one word have so much power over people? I don't think that's going to last very much longer, just so you guys know.
There is a paradox here, I think, that is very interesting that I think, comes into the larger debate, which is why are black people allowed to say it with impunity? And not only that, they say all kinds of other words without being canceled.
That's because black people can't be racist.
Right.
We know that.
And I think that that's what's strange. It's like, okay, what's good for the goose is good for the dandruff.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
Is what they say. And so, if you have goose dandruff, that in and of itself is a problem.
Yeah, you want to get that checked out.
And so why?
I think it's...
How can it not go both ways? And look, I think... I have this debate with my mom as a Christian because I don't think that words should be off limits because I'm a free speech absolutist. I just am.
Also, context matters.
It's not just context, but it's also like how you use it. Okay, like I don't necessarily think, and this is contrary to my mom's opinion and probably a lot of other Christians' opinions, but like I don't think the word shit like is a bad word. It matters like how you use it. Okay, there are lots of words in other countries that are curse words that aren't curse words in the United States, and we use all the time, not knowing the implication of that word.
Yeah,
and the interesting thing is like it matters what your heart posture is. So it's like how are you using that word? If you are using words to be derogatory to someone, it doesn't matter what the word is. Or what the words are.
Mm-hmm.
It matters. Like, are you speaking from a place of love? Even if you're being critical, that can still come from a place of love. And so
you could come up with a totally different word, and you could say right now, instead of saying the N-word, I'm going to use this word in place of the N-word.
Canadian.
And Canadian. And I'm going to say that.
Nutella.
And I'm going to tell you right now, when I say Canadian, I mean full N-word, hard R, okay? I'm still not saying the N-word, and I've said Canadian 2 or 3 times. There's another one right there. I said Canadian 4 times now.
Yeah.
Okay? And I just told you it means the exact same thing as N-word with a hard R, but I'm still not going to say that word. How did that one word get so much freaking power?
You're not going to say it?
I'm still not going to say it right now. I'm still not going to.
Say it right. If you believe in free speech, say it.
I was going to do this to you today. My whole plan was to get you to say the M-word
I
today.
know.
I had the whole thing mapped out already, okay?
I've got contracts and stuff I've got to worry about.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, I don't think if we say it and we get like canceled or whatever, I don't think we're going to raise $1 million after that happens, okay? So context should matter, though. Like, we were doing karaoke one time. We were talking about this before the show, and we did a Drake song, and
Just singing the lyrics.
just doing lyrics. They were on the screen, and you're doing the karaoke as any man would. And someone in the room, apparently, I didn't know, unbeknownst to me, had like a hard rule that you don't say the N-word. Like, you just don't say it. You could say anything. You could get that person's kid right there and yell every other curse word that exists in the human, all languages combined at that kid.
Not off limits.
None of them are off limits at all. But we're rapping a song beautifully, I might add, perfectly.
Yeah.
Killed it, better than Drake, honestly. And they ended up leaving the room, and it caused like a big stir. Because I've said full N-word. It was on the screen, okay? What am I supposed to do? It was right there.
It was right.
I was among friends.
Yeah, it was
okay?
right there.
But, maybe if I would have known beforehand,
I'll be honest, you and I have done karaoke in a bar in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And said the words.
Probably some alcohol involved in
the
that
song
one.
to a room. Well, half the room was black and the other half was white.
Yeah.
And they all loved it.
They were having a good time.
They had a great time, as far as we could tell.
As far as I could tell.
Yeah.
No one yelled at us. No one threw anything at us. No one tried to beat our asses or anything.
That was almost 10 years ago. So it's like maybe things were a little different.
I guess things have changed. I don't know. Maybe it got worse. Maybe it got worse after that. But who doesn't care is this girl, Lily. Let me get her last name. Gaddis? Is that who it is?
No, this is where it can go too far.
Well, there's a.
Is this the woke, right?
Well, speaking of the word having so much power, I want to play the funny clip first, okay? And this is where she says she has no problem using the M-word, and Piers Morgan invites her to just go ahead and say the M-word right here on air. And there happens to be a couple black guys on the panel with her as well. One of them is Mark Clement Hill, who is not happy about this happening at all. He's so unhappy that he freaks out at the thought of her saying the word within earshot of him and him hearing her say it. He says the word as he's saying that she can't say the word. I think it's bleeped out on this. Actually, I haven't listened to this full clip. So he says the word that she can't say because he can't hear her say it. This makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Everyone. Okay, this
she
makes
also
no
makes a
sense.
lot of other points that I don't agree with at all. So this is not.
Oh yeah, I don't agree with her points that she makes. I mean, she says a couple things that we could be in alignment with sometimes, but for different reasons probably. When she gets into stuff like this is our country and this is a white country, and
are you saying fine people on both sides right now?
There could be fine people on both sides. Here's this interaction.
And I don't want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly, and you will
go
not
on then,
have
say
free-
it. Say
you
the
will
M.
not have
Go on,
free
say
speech.
go on. Say the M word. Go on.
I'm not
No,
ashamed.
hang on.
Invite. No.
No.
I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word, because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here. You and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you.
Piers ends up giving in, and he's like, all right, yeah, I hear you, and we're not going to invite her to say the M-word. Now, he says, you're not going to invite her to say the M-word. I'm the only N-word on here, and so I'm going to be the victim.
And the other
of
guy
her saying the word out loud.
Now, the other guy who has permission to say it based on his skin color is an Uncle Tom.
And he would say it, by the way, for probably the same reasons that she would say it, but he can say it because he's black.
Yes.
And so that's fine. But
Yes.
he would say it not just saying like, what's up my N-word? He would say it like in a derogatory way, like she would. Actually, when she just says it out loud, I'm not even claiming that it would be derogatory. You know, like if I were to just fully say N-word out loud right now, is that derogatory towards someone? Did I just put someone down?
I don't know.
Did I do that? The problem with this word, by the way, I did kind of map out why there is an issue with this and why. Maybe
That's the other thing the Fed Haters Club is pointing out. He calls the other black guy a racial slur.
He does. But he can't be racist.
But that
he's
and
black.
that's
so he
the
can't-
whole
yeah.
paradox of this entire thing. What's weird is that they've given power to this word.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and it's like if someone just says the word, like I think the Shiloh girl was being derogatory.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Like that to me is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like objectively, she shouldn't have grouped a little kid into a racial slur that was meant to be derogatory. She was meaning to be derogatory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And specifically because the kid was black.
Right.
Which
If it was a white kid that was going through her son's bag, which they do all the time, like, I mean, we went to the park last night and there were kids taking other kids' scooters and kids were chasing them down like, yeah, it's my scooter.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It's
stuff.
all black park, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was all white kids
Oh, okay.
in Nolansville. I mean,
And so
that's the strange thing.
we're talking about the power of this word and the fact that it's crazy you can't say it. That's why Shiloh raised so much money, is a refute to this idea that like your life should be destroyed because you said a word. Now, to clarify, she was not just saying the word because she was doing karaoke or something like that. She was saying it in a derogatory way towards a kid because he was black, and towards the person with the phone because he was black. And so that kind of makes it the racist, derogatory way to use that word. But that's why people started chipping in so much money. There were people out there threatening to destroy her life. There were people threatening to kill her, end her life, have her kid taken away, stuff like that. There's still, I believe, people are trying to initiate some legal proceedings over this hate speech that occurred. And so that's why she raised all that money. Matt Walsh's point was he was glad that she raised all that money because it's going to kill cancel culture. Because once you find that when you try to cancel someone, people will come together and decide to raise a bunch of money for that person, and you'll actually end up, if you try to cancel someone, you'll gift them with a bunch of money, then maybe that's going to kill cancel culture. I don't think it's really going to work that way. But so there's the issue with the M-word, I think, is that...
Well, to finish, round out my point here on that, they've given so much power to this word, I think, because for the longest time in our culture and in government and politics, they've conjured up this idea that black people are just inherently victims and that the system is against them and they can't get ahead. They don't have driver's license or access to the internet and like all of this stuff. And it's like, I think if we culturally just treated them like human beings, which they are, and the government just treated them like human beings and encouraged them that they have potential and they could be successful and all of that stuff.
You can get ahead in life.
You can get ahead of life. No one's trying to hold you back except you. You're the only demise to your own situation based on the decisions that you make for your own life. And if we gave them a different message, no one would care if this word was said, because there wouldn't be this victimization narrative. And so
I think we're going to get to that point.
You know why black people are able to call white people crackers and not have any consequences whatsoever? Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Who cares?
Who cares? Why give power to a word? Call me whatever you want.
Like, I'll care about the hypocrisy. Like, if you're trying to use it as a racially demeaning term to call someone, I'm like, well, that's not fair.
But I would just laugh.
Yeah. like, still, who cares? Yeah, come on. I'm white.
Cool.
I'm rich. Who cares?
Yeah, let's compare businesses. You know?
You want to compare privileges? No, we're kidding about that. So while I think you should be able to say a word without getting like canceled or your life ruined or whatever, and it's ridiculous that one word has so much power. I do still understand that there's an issue with it, and the issue is that it is a race-specific way of putting a person down. Like, if I were to call someone, like if I were to call that kid a POS for stealing from my bag, well, that's one thing. Call a kid a POS. It's still kind of dumb to call a kid a name because they took something from your bag. But then when you decide to pull out a racially specific term for the kid that's stealing, that's a little bit different from just calling the kid a name. I think we should have the same put down words for everyone. Individualist put down words for everyone, you know? So the issue is that it's like a collectivist specific term to call someone based on what their race is. And you don't need to do that. I think that the same words, derogatory words that we would use for anyone, I think should apply to anyone. I want colorblind derogatory terms to call people here, folks. All right? That's what I'm looking for.
That's what a closet racist would say.
Yeah.
And then this opportunity is being used to spark the larger debate, which is what we're having here.
Yeah.
Like, can you use words or not? And I think Lily was trying to go down that path. She said a lot of things that I don't agree with, like a lot of white pride type of stuff, like, well, this is a white country and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not true.
They're taking our country and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's a bunch of ridiculous stuff.
But she did try to make some points that I think are valid, which is like, why am I being judged for saying a word versus them? They're not being judged based on the actions that they actually portray.
Yeah.
And what she's referring to is, like, let's say the BLM riots. Okay. Like, there were a lot of people, all kinds of races, but there were a lot of black people who were setting buildings on fire, stealing. Mm-hmm. Crime has skyrocketed in places like California and San Francisco. And then you have the stats, and that's what she was trying to make a point on, that I think she could have done a better job of, but I think she did. I think she's willing to be called racist or whatever it is for views.
Yeah, I mean,
she was willing to throw some extra things out there for views, and she very well could just be a racist. She may just hate black people as a collective, and that is what's wrong.
That's a bad thing.
Again, it's collectivism. Collectivism is wrong. We should be judging people as individuals. Like, there are all kinds of people of all kinds of races who are the most genuine, kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. And I don't care what the color of your skin is. And then there are people from all kinds of races who end up being the greatest pieces of shit I've ever met in my entire life. Mm-hmm. Like, I have people I associate with and don't associate with, and it has nothing to do with skin color. It has everything to do with actions and decisions that they make, and their character, who they are as a person, what they believe to be right or wrong. And what they act upon being right and wrong. And that's the only important measure you should have for a person specifically.
You know, a lot of the worst people in history that we talk about often were white, you know, just to point that out. A couple white guys, I'm just going to say, like, some of the worst. This is like a almost anti-government podcast, you know, libertarian podcast, not really anarchist or whatever, but a lot of the historical examples we'll pull up. I mean, there's a lot of whiteys out there that have done some of the worst things that you can name throughout history. Yeah. Does that mean that we should hate all white people because white people did that? No, it's ridiculous to do that.
Yeah.
There's this shooting that occurred that I wanted to talk about real quick. This guy's name is Rodney Hinton Jr. His son was killed. I think his son's name was Ryan. His son was killed by police shooting. I believe he was with a few other guys. They had stolen a car, and police found them because the car was a newer car that had like a tracking app, you know. And so they found the car. They were still in it. The cops come up there, and the people run. And so they pursue the suspects. Ryan Hinton did have a gun. That's confirmed that he did have a gun. He was running from police, and eventually when they caught up to him, they ended up shooting him and killing him. Now, they said that he had a gun and he had pointed it at them. The body cam footage does not show that happening. Now,
well, he did have a gun.
He did. We do know
But
that he
we
had a
don't-
gun.
Yeah, we didn't see that it was pointed at them.
But at the point that the body cam footage shows the cop going up to shoot the guy was not pointing the gun at the cop or anything. Now, the guy's got a gun. It's even got an extended magazine on it. Okay, that's extra dangerous.
It was loaded. There was one in the chamber.
It was loaded, ready to go. Do you got to wait? Like, what's the time interval that you have to wait for a gun to be fully pointed at you before you decide to bring your gun up and shoot at someone? I don't know. Is it
Now, he also was charging at police when the shooting happened.
That's not entirely shown either. That's what the cop said.
Yeah.
Here's the actual footage from this. Here's this. I'm going to turn the sound off because it's... Now, that's not charging at the police right there.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and tell you that. And so this guy gets killed. Let me play it. I'm going to try and do this a little bit slower. I'll just scroll through. He's going between some dumpsters. Cops running up. Now, at this point, I think they know he has a gun and everything. So you got to keep that in mind, you know. Comes around. He's between the dumpsters. And let's see. There he is right there. Guns out. There's the guy. Doesn't appear to be charging at the cops. I don't see a gun pointing at the cop. And that's when they decide to shoot the guy. So that's that right there. That's not entirely important to this story. This may or may not be a good shoot, as they might call it. We don't really know that. So what's concerning is the next day, after the father of this kid sees the footage, they show the father the body cam footage. He clearly gets very upset. I think regardless, when you see a video even of your kid getting killed, even if your kid was in the wrong or whatever, like let's say your kid did something wrong, but then you watch the video of your kid getting shot and killed.
Yeah.
Regardless, you're going to get super upset about that. Okay?
I would.
Now, as we said, does the kid raise a gun at the cop, point a gun at the cop? Nah, not really. But what I'm just telling you, these situations, they go very quickly, and almost none of us listening have ever been in a situation where we were 15 feet away from someone who had a gun, who was running from us in a moment where they could pick it up and shoot you and you could die. Okay? So I'm not an expert on that. I haven't been there. All right. I don't know anything about that. We'll leave whether or not it was a good shot out of it. The kid's father then turns around and kills a cop the next day. Okay. Now, this is also sad. It might be sad for this guy that his son was killed. It's also sad for the family of the police officer that was killed. Now, this got spun immediately on X as he turned around and killed the cop that killed his son. And there's a little bit of, there's a little bit of understanding. I'm not saying it's right to do, but like if you saw a video and you thought it was a bad shot and your kid should still be alive right now or whatever, and you're just fully enraged at the moment, you take out revenge on the person who killed your kid, even if it's wrong. You just can't stand it. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. There's a little bit more understanding. But it wasn't the cop who shot his kid. It
was just a cop.
Just a random cop.
More collectivism.
Yes, exactly. It was just a random cop who was working traffic duty at a graduation. And he sees him and he runs him down with his car. All right. This, as Charlie just said, more collectivism, collective guilt for people. Now, a little bit more complicated because they work for the government, but whatever. Still, that cop, as far as we know, did not do anything to that guy's son or had not done anything that deserved for him to be killed. But people are celebrating this and celebrating the guy who ran down this cop as if he's Luigi out there killing a healthcare CEO. I'll show you a couple examples of this kind of thing. First one says, this is the dad coming in the court. They've got like a whole bunch of cops lined up as he's walking in the court, and he's got his head held high, staring him down as he walks in there. This person says, eye for an eye, a father's revenge, keep your head up. This person says, Rodney Hinton is a hero. This is exactly the energy we should have for the state-sanctioned killers when they come after one of our own. Let's see. This person said, cop unalived Rodney Hinton Jr. He was unarmed. Rodney Hinton Sr., his father, that's incorrect information, by the way. Rodney Hinton Jr. is the father, pretty sure. His father, unalive that cop. We are tired, F-A-F-O. It was a different cop. It was not the same cop, okay? That's seems important, and they're all like real happy. All these posts are real happy about him keeping his head up as he walked in the court.
This is what's disgusting in this entire race war that is brewing.
Looking for a GoFundMe account now for this guy. Now I haven't found. I think there is one set up. It's not getting a lot of money, but don't be surprised if this guy ends up raising a bunch of money for his defense after he just knowingly ran down a cop with his car, not the cop who killed his kid, just another random cop that was out there. Let's see. They said they tried to intimidate the brother with over 30 deputies in court, but the soldier held his head up high. He's a soldier now, fighting back against these people. And then there were a couple videos here of people, like this guy made a good point, you know, saying like, I wouldn't do this. You wouldn't justify it, but you can kind of understand how he was so upset and, you know, decided that he was going to kill a cop. I can't imagine what that would be like, even if your kid did something wrong. Like, I can't imagine what you would feel after seeing someone kill them. Not to mention, you just have gone through years and years of hearing that these cops are all racist and they're just killing black people because they're all racist. And so therefore, your kid, who's an angel, never done anything wrong their whole life, just gets killed by a cop. And so it must be because the kid was black and I don't even know if the cop was white. I'm not even sure. But then he ends up running down this white cop afterwards. It's a really disgusting situation that we're running into right now, where now you can end up glorifying, I mean, just outright openly glorifying a guy who kills a random cop, not even the cop who killed his kid. And so that's starting to look a little scary.
This is why forgiveness is so important. If not, we devolve into what humans have done for thousands of years, which is just kill each other.
Yeah.
You're guilty by association.
That's
We've
true.
seen it.
Like, oh, they're from that tribe? Oh,
yeah.
There we go. We'll just kill who's in that tribe.
All throughout, you're just, oh, they voted for Hamas. Let's just level the entire place. You know?
By they, I mean probably their parents, and only like 34% of their parents voted for them. But they. Yeah,
we should kill all of them.
They did. Oh, they are genociding Gaza. Let's kill all of them too. Who's the they in that? Well, honestly, it's like these people who work in the government, just those people right there. I posted out earlier, don't forget remember who the real enemy is. And the picture was just a map of Washington, D.C. That's all. Yeah. That's all it was. I was watching the Hunger Games last night with my niece who's staying with me, and there's I think the second one, when they have this kind of plan to break out of the games and start the revolution and all that kind of stuff, and they were all in on it, or half of them were in on it. They keep saying, like, remember who the real enemy is, to try and get her not to kill any of these people who are on her side. They don't know about it, and that's kind of a nice little metaphor, like we're all trapped in this little Hunger Games scenario right now and forgetting that the Capitol is the enemy right now. And I really think that's pretty, it's not exactly what's happening. We're not trapped in a Hunger Games where like one person's going to come out. Okay. That's not what's really happening right now. But isn't it weird that we have all this stuff spinning up? Even the woke right nonsense with James Lindsay, the timing of this is just so weird. I'm not saying he's a Fed. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure people in the club probably hate him, and it's called the Fed Haters Club. So I don't know, but I'm not saying he's a Fed. But it's so weird how you have these people just popping out of the woodwork to divide people that were previously united towards some type of common goal. Maybe it was decreasing the state, or maybe we were starting to talk about not going to so many wars or funding so many wars or foreign aid and all that. Now all of a sudden it becomes like racist to talk about these things, or you're woke if you talk about, well, I don't want to be branded woke to talk about these things. That's crazy, I don't want to talk about how Israel might not be doing the right thing in this war because I don't want to be an anti-Semite. That's bad. That's terrible. I can't talk about that. All the while, they just keep taking your money and spending way too much of it. They spend more than they even take in. They're taking money from your freaking grandkids right now, people.
Great-grandkids.
Your great-grandkids are getting robbed
blind
right now by these people, and we're in here, we're fighting about freaking N-words and stuff.
We haven't even mentioned the fact that Turkey and India are going at it.
Those aren't the countries. That's why. It's Pakistan and India. If we want to talk about it,
Pakistan and India.
I've got no opinion.
I've been listening to Martyr Maid, so I'm just thinking of the Ottoman Empire. It's the Ottoman Empire versus India.
I've got no opinion until Daryl Cooper releases an episode about it. Then I'll see what my opinion is on the matter after I hear that.
I'm against it.
I don't like war. Yeah. But
what is it good for?
My number one thing is I don't want any of my money going to pay for either one of the sides that are in this war. Even though if we look deeply into it, I'm sure it already is.
CIA definitely
these are some of the last USAID remnants. They're trying to get the cash out the door right now. That's what's happening. We sort of ran up against time here because we got
cover the Portnoy real quick.
Do we have time?
Yeah, I have time. I don't have anything.
Oh, I thought you had something new.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore.
Okay, well, how about that? And
I don't think. Hang on, give me a second. I believe that was moved. Yeah.
Let me tell you about another ridiculous, and this is a collectivism that not as many people noticed. But okay, so these kids or these people are at a Barstool club or a bar or whatever it is. I guess they have bars or clubs.
It's a Barstool club.
And there's a sign, and it says "F the Jews." Now listen, that is a stupid collectivist statement to make about an entire group of people based on their ethnicity or their whatever different forms.
You could have just been like, this would have not been a problem if you would have said F Netanyahu.
Yeah, that could have been. Well, some people still would have just called that anti-Semitic for
sure.
Some
people would have, but I don't think you would have gotten fired because Portnoy ended up firing the 2 bottle service girls.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
And then apparently he had a conversation with this guy, and he was very apologetic. And
then he ended up not being apologetic.
Yeah, Portnoy offered him to go to Poland to see an actual.
Yeah, Auschwitz. Was going to send him to Auschwitz.
And he agreed. He was going to do that, and then all of a sudden he flipped, and now he's a victim, and he's got a GoFundMe.
Yeah, he's got a GoFundMe too.
Or gives a go, whatever it is.
We got to find a way to get a GoFundMe going, man.
This is wild.
We're not grifting properly
my
in
mom
today's day and age.
My mom has one.
Yeah.
Because she's a single grandmother.
Yeah.
She got in a bad car accident and, doesn't make a whole lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
So
no, she has insurance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Doesn't have health insurance.
Well, yeah.
But she had car insurance. But luckily she is, I think, going to qualify for some state assistance, which is nice.
Socialism. Good.
Yeah. It's nice for her.
It's good for her.
Because so far...
Did she thank you for that?
Well, so far the bills, I think, are upwards of like $60,000 to $80,000. So, yeah. And I think her GoFundMe is at about 10.
She needs to say the N-word. Has she considered calling someone the N-word?
I don't know, but I'll let her know.
These days, people don't care about you just, shattering your ankle.
Needing help.
And needing help from people.
Yeah.
You need to call someone a bad word,
Oh, man.
Or you need to have a sign that says F the Jews if you want to do that. So that, in my opinion, we can point to all these things about Israel and Zionism, and that's a different thing from just saying F the Jews. There's a lot of Jews who are not Zionists. There's a lot of Jews.
Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, a lot of Jews. Well, he's probably a Zionist. There's a lot of Jews who haven't been to Israel, don't know anything about Israel. They just happen to be Jewish. And so making a stupid collectivist statement like this, I think, is really dumb. Like most forms of collectivism. But you know what else was a stupid form of collectivism that maybe most people didn't pick up on? Was that his answer to this was to send these guys, I guess was it 2 guys? I don't know. Was to send these guys to Auschwitz to learn about the Holocaust. Now, imagine this. Someone holds up a stupid collectivist sign collectivizing an entire group of people and saying F them. And so to teach them a lesson in stupid collectivist tactics, you just send them to a Holocaust museum to learn about something that happened 80 years ago to...
But look,
a bunch of people who are not here dealing with that right now.
I think this is right, though. Dave Portnoy did what the mom should have done, what Shiloh should have done. Okay? He took the maybe these kids are ignorant route, and maybe they need some education on this, which is what Shiloh should have done in the situation.
Sent the kid to the Congo.
I'm saying she should have used some parenting tactics.
Oh, okay.
Rather than
Sorry, I've got the analogy.
Yeah.
The comparison.
should have used some parenting tactics and assumed the kid was ignorant of that. Stealing another kid's things are not appropriate.
Yeah.
And rather than being derogatory.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is actually the right thing to do. And then of course he's rescinded this and is now absolutely blasting them because the guy took the deal and was like, you know what, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. That was ignorant of me. I should go learn about what happened to the Jews. And he's rescinded that apology essentially, and now it's a full-on war.
Yeah.
Another war.
I still just think that was a stupid thing to offer because it has nothing to do with any people that this person is saying F you to right now. It's something that happened to people 80 years ago and has no bearing on some Jew living in New York.
You just talked about how the guy was making a dumb sign because not all Jews have to do with what's happening in Israel and Gaza.
I know, and not all Jews have anything to do with what happened in the Holocaust. Like I don't care what happened to my ancestors 2 generations ago. It'd be like if someone said F black people, F N-words, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to show you this field in Alabama. Okay, what does that have to do with the black people I'm talking about right now? Nothing. It has nothing to do with those black people I'm talking about right now. That's something that happened in history.
I don't know. I disagree on this one. I disagree. I think what he's doing is trying to show them that like the Jews as a collective
dealt with something 80 years ago.
Greatly. I don't think I could be wrong. I don't think Portnoy is on the side of Israel leveling Gaza.
I'll just say he wore a yarmulke and was waving a Israeli flag at the last MMA event he went to. So I'm pretty sure he is.
Maybe that's the part that I don't know, and maybe his idea was to get them on Israel's side, as in like keep destroying Gaza.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong about that, I'm willing to be wrong.
No, I could be wrong on
that
that too. I haven't seen a lot of statements of him when it comes to the war, but he is out there talking about anti-Semitism to people who are just talking about Israel a lot. He's like,
so maybe
Israel.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. As far as I know, Portnoy is pretty anti-war. I don't think he approves of what Israel is doing to Gaza.
Well, I have no clue on that. No idea.
I think
I'll have to do some research.
Yeah. So maybe I'm wrong on this. I think it was a good idea in the fact of showing like, okay, you can't be collective and say F all the Jews.
Yeah.
Because like here's some history on what happened with these folks. But if he's doing it as a way to like be like, you should get behind Israel leveling Gaza, well, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
But
I
don't know what the motivation is.
I just don't see the connection to people today right now. I mean, whatever it is that people are saying F the Jews about, like, okay, here's what these people went through at this time. I don't think that's what anyone's mad about.
Well, I think if you're like, let's say you're ignorant of black people. No, I'm serious. And you think that they're all N-words and they're good for nothing.
Tricksters.
Yeah. Let's say you have that viewpoint. Okay. Then I think showing like the history of black suffrage could open someone's eyes to be like, okay, well, they're not all like that.
Yeah.
They're not all like that. There's some good people and they suffered a lot.
I would just be like, read this Thomas Sowell book, just do that.
Well, yeah. I think different strokes for different folks, as they say. I don't know.
I wouldn't say like, hey, don't talk about black people like that. They were slaves a long time ago. Like that person wasn't a slave, So
I think it gives you some empathy.
I feel bad for the people that suffered through the Holocaust.
Well,
but I'm not gonna let a Jew down the street tell me that I can't say something negative about him as a person because of the Holocaust. That's the same thing as saying that you can't criticize something a black person does because of Jim Crow.
I'm not saying that you can't criticize an individual, but this person had a sign that said, fuck the Jews.
All of them.
Which is, that's implicit in the sign.
You think he meant historically also? Like for all time?
I don't know. I think we might have to agree to disagree on this one. I think the logic falls apart.
Your logic is falling apart. I'm glad you can admit that. You know, I think it would be really fun if we found some stuff that we disagreed on, because I think people have never heard what you and I can do when we have a disagreement on something, and I think it'd be really funny to listen to. That'd be pretty fun. We should try and find a whole list of topics that we have hard disagreements on. But right now we have to go. So I think we should end it.
I mean, here's
on a good note.
Let me tell you,
which is that I won this conversation. So just go ahead and stop it there. I don't think we have to go any further.
I mean, Portnoy's comments, I want peace for all innocents in Middle East. I also fully support Israel's right to exist plus defend itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He says there is no country that is consistently attacked by their enemies plus then told to use restraint when defending themselves despite superior military more than Israel.
Yeah,
I want peace for all innocents in Middle East. I also fully support Israel's right to exist plus defend itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. He said, this is a basic human rights issue, he wrote in October. Everybody should be outraged. It shouldn't matter what religion or race you are. Anytime innocent men, women, and children are brutally murdered, raped, and kidnapped in broad daylight, the entire world should be outraged. Hamas once again proved that they are a terrorist organization that will never make peace with Israel or the West. They are no different than ISIS or Al-Qaeda in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care what Dave Portnoy's thoughts are on this stuff. I just think I feel like this whole tying something back to a thing that happened 80 years ago would be the same thing as talking about Jim Crow laws or slavery or whatever whenever we talk about racial disparities in the US. I'm like, hey, it's 2025, dude. These are different people doing different things at the moment. But we really do have to go because I got to pee.
Okay.
So that's our hard stop at the moment.
All right, y'all. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, please share the show with a friend, a family member, and the children. All the children so they can learn nuance, debate. That's what they need to learn. Go to GodHatesFeds.
You could tell I had to pee, by the way. He's a couple minutes ago. I'm starting to get squirrely here on my chair.
Yeah. Go to GodHatesFeds.com or join GML.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club. Go visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support this show. And if you do all of that, we'll be back again tomorrow. Hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.
I should get that